Now, your Chris 6 weather forecast.
Good morning. It is a hazy view as we take the scene in from our Skycam overlooking downtown Corpus Christi. So a lot of moisture, a lot of humidity hanging around in the air above us. This is a lot of water. And if you can tell, it's hard to see across the bay here. We can make out some of the lights, but there's actually a little bit more of the bay right here that we can't see because that visibility is restricted. So with that in mind, there are a few trouble spots on the roadway, as I've been telling you about in the traffic report, but overall, not quite that bad. The heat index, I think, is probably a little more difficult to deal with this morning. 79 is the temperature at CCIA, and it feels like 83 out there. 81, that's the actual air temperature in Port Aransas this morning. It feels like 88. 77 in Alice feels like 78, and we have a little bit of movement in the air this morning. General wind direction, south-southeast. So that's a little more south, definitely brings in the heat, but we still have that east component that brings us the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. So, of course, a lot of that humidity supplied to us by the wind. That is kind of a double-edged sword. So sky conditions, we have some clouds above all this haze, but we will see that begin to clear as we deal with sunrise. And as that sun pokes its head over the horizon, the winds pick up, more mixing in the atmosphere, and we'll get sunshine and lots of heat building on through. So maybe you feel like our dog walking start today. Julio's expression to me is kind of like, what are you talking about? Heat index of 117. Yeah, I have the same exact feelings about this kind of weather, Julio, so I hope your walk is a little earlier today. That's going to be your best bet with your furry friends. Their toe beans have a hard time with the pavement out there once we get to the afternoon and it gets hot. Plus, as you just heard, that panting only helps them so much when the temperatures are this oppressive, not to mention the humidity, so please be mindful of that. We'll be in those lower 90s as we get into the lunchtime hour with a breeze, and that will be more so from the south. So forecast highs today hanging out anywhere from 90 along the coast. As you move inland, we quickly ramp that up to the upper 90s near the century mark, and inland locations of the coastal bend are going to see those temperatures rising to the middle 100s. So you can only imagine what that forecast heat index looks like. For us here in Corpus Christi, that takes us into the 110s, and while you see that 119 there, this is a model, it's not set in stone. It also won't be for that 2-hour or longer mark. Still, heat alerts are already on deck for us this afternoon. We have a heat advisory in effect from 1 to 8 p.m. for everyone here in Orange. This does extend pretty much along the coast except the barrier islands, and an excessive heat warning for inland locations. So you need to make sure that you're taking the time to check in on children, pets, and the elderly. You yourself take those breaks indoors to cool off and hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. We'll be dealing with triple-digit temperatures from the end of this week on into about the middle of next week. Stay cool, everyone.